thin. Hey everyone, welcome to today's Program Yourself Thin podcast. Today we are talking about how clean foods make you thin. Now let me talk about clean foods because I think sometimes clean can have a negative connotation with dieting. It's not about being perfect. I just like to use the word clean to mean foods that are more natural, more whole, less processed. Real simple, okay? And it's a spectrum. I want to make that crystal clear. So obviously I went into the spectrum as just straight natural foods, an apple, a banana, lettuce, vegetables, right? Meat, right? Stuff that you see it, you know what it is, you know where it came from, you get it. It's one thing. Okay. And so that's the one side of clean. And then we flip over to the other side. I get it for the clean category. We'll go from clean to, not clean. Let's just keep it that way. And so the opposite, that might be a Twinkie, right? Or astronaut ice cream. I don't know, just stuff that is like literally it's so processed, it's so manipulated that it's really not even food. It's kind of food stuff. And so if we think in the spectrum, the more we start to put the more we start to make what we eat consistently cleaner, right? And I say this as it's kind of in your mind, like it's a scale you put on all your meals. So it's like if you're going out to, a restaurant, maybe you'll get a salad in order to kind of clean the meal up. Right. And if you're going to set up a breakfast for yourself, maybe usually have, a sandwich with meat and potato chips. We take that meal and we kind of see like, okay, how clean is that? How can I make it cleaner? I'll add a tomato, lettuce to the sandwich, again. So it's a mindset of making our foods consistently cleaner as much as we can. And we're not judging ourselves when it's not clean. Again, we're going to have times when we just eat bullshit and stuff that's, completely processed, completely just, fast junk food stuff. That's okay too. But really our focus, what we're always focusing is not trying to be perfect with our eating, not trying to stick to a perfect diet plan starting tomorrow, but instead getting in the mindset of constantly and never ending improvement of making our food cleaner and cleaner and cleaner and cleaner. Because the more clean you make your food, the more clean food you put into your body, the easier it is to lose weight. This is why I say the reason clean foods make you thin is because these clean natural foods pretty much exclusively are of a way lower calorie density, right? So you can eat the same volume of cookie and the same volume of apples, and the apples, the same amount, the apple's got way less calories in it. And it has fiber and nutrients and other things in it that satisfy you. So when you start to eat more whole natural foods in your diet, almost without exception, you're going to start consuming less calories. So they did a study where they tracked people, they compared people on a low-fat diet, a low-carb diet, and a whole natural food diet. And the interesting thing was on the first two diets, the low carb and low fat, they had them track what they were doing. So they're measuring things, tracking things, very, very specific with that. See what the weight loss is. The whole natural food group did not track anything. They said, eat as much as you want, do what you want, just we'll see what happens. And what they found out is the whole natural food group, without any tracking at all, was on average consuming up to 500 calories a day less, just naturally. So this is why I say you have never really gotten this as a strategy. Maybe you have, I don't know, but it's like when you make this your core strategy, so instead of trying to cut the calories down even, we're not even starting with the calories because most people are trying to reduce their calories, but their body is screaming out for nourishment. America is the home of the overfed, undernourished person, right? So you're getting an overabundance of calories and an underabundance of nourishment. And so that's why I say, if you start focusing on the cleanliness of your food, the naturalness, the wholeness of your food, you start to make that your primary focus and paradigm when it comes to making food decisions, instead of just trying to cut calories, what happens is you start to feel more satisfied and nourished. And almost without exception, you simultaneously are reducing the calories. And it's a much better strategy. You have much more of a firm foundation under you when you approach it this way. As opposed to just trying to cut the calories down, you focus in on how do I create a really solid foundation under me, a nutritional food foundation under me that I can build on top of. And that is your clean foods. The more clean, whole, natural foods you put into your body on a consistent basis, the easier it is for you to master your weight. It's that simple. And so if you want some help doing this, click the link in my bio or go to Program Yourself, then go get the free hypnosis session I give you. Watch the video I made for you, read the emails I send, and let me help you start eating more clean foods, right? So that you can lose the weight. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask them. Any weight loss questions are welcome. Yeah. I know a lot of people out there struggling to lose weight. So any guidance I can suggest or offer, I'm happy to do. I have been doing this for a long time. If you don't know me, I've been doing this for 30 years, over 30 years personally, and over 20 years professionally. So I do help a lot of people master their weight, and I have a different take on it, than a lot of things you're going to hear. So if you're struggling with cravings, food, weight loss, motivation, mindset, feel free to ask anything. Any questions? Welcome. I'm here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Eastern, and to answer your questions. This really is a mission of mine. And yeah. What's up, Kelly? Kelly says, eating cleaner helps me feel better too, and that helps me keep doing it. Yeah, agreed, right? It's unlimited benefits to the clean eating. It's that simple. And clean eating to me is the holy grail. It's the main thing it's the main paradigm I exist within when I'm thinking about food. And it's very simple. You know what I mean? It's clean. I don't want to say not clean. It doesn't sound great, but it's just true. And it can be hard. I will tell you, at first it can be hard because if you're like me, there ain't a whole lot of clean eating going on. For me, when I first started this, there was very little clean eating. And as I started to consistently increase the clean eating, the more I do it, the easier everything becomes. And I think you just do not get this message a lot. I think you get a lot about trying to manage calories and macronutrients and, all these different things. But the main thing that's going to affect your weight ultimately is the amount of clean, whole, natural food you're eating. It is that fucking simple. And you could draw a straight line from when the obesity epidemic took off in the early 80s, late 70s. You can draw a direct correlation between obesity and diabetes rates literally skyrocketing, starting right at the moment when our foods really started to become much more processed. I mean, and again, there's other factors as well, but the primary factor, I believe, of the obesity epidemic, the fact that 75% of the American population of adults is overweight or obese, is directly attributable to the processed food. It's not even really food anymore. It's food stuff. And as you get yourself back to increasing the amount of whole natural food that you're putting into your body regularly, it is absolutely transformative on a level you can't even imagine. So I'm not overstating this either. I want to make crystal clear that the more I have never met anyone that eats lots of whole, clean foods that struggles with their weight. I'll take it that far. So I think it's the missing piece for a lot of people, because when you just focus on calories and not the quality of the food, you're really it's like you're stepping into the process too late, because the quality of the food you're eating is directly impacting your hunger, your ability to reduce your calories. If you're eating a lot of processed junk food, fast food stuff, it's literally engineered to trigger your hunger and make you hungry and eat more of their bullshit. It's that simple. So if you want to get control over your weight, you have got to shift your eating, and you've got to eat more whole, clean foods. Now you say, oh, what about the guy who ate McDonald's and lost weight? Of course you can lose weight eating bullshit, but it's a lot harder. That guy who lost weight on McDonald's was some professor, and I'm sure he just wanted to prove a point. Fine. Yeah, I mean, if you're super, I mean, shit, I could throw you in jail and I'm in control of your calories. I could feed you, fast food and junk food all day long. But if I only gave you 1,000 calories of junk food and fast food, you're still going to lose weight. But in the real world, where you're making your food decisions, the more that bullshit you eat, the more triggered you're going to get to eat more of it. It makes it really hard. these foods are so manipulated. And what was the word I saw today? Actually, it was hold on a second. I got to find this word for you. Hold on. It was in a Times article. Ultra formulated. I haven't heard that one before. I've heard ultra processed, but ultra formulated really hit me right between the eyes. I got to do a lesson on that, because ultra formulated is different than ultra processed. Like they're the same in one way, but the difference is when you think ultra formulated, it helps you recognize that there is a billion-dollar corporation with giant campuses of chemists and scientists, neuroscientists, biologists, chemists working on creating the most addictive food possible. It's literally ultra formulated to get you to overeat it. And it's like, I don't know who you are that could eat that stuff and put yourself in such a weak position and still succeed. I couldn't do it. So again, I guess the other side of what I'm saying is the diet industry has convinced you that the main reason you're not losing weight is because you don't have the willpower. You haven't put the willpower in. But the diet industry is owned by the food industry, folks. The diet industry is a branch of the processed food industry. Weight Watchers was owned by Heinz. Jenny Craig was owned by Nestle. Atkins Food Products is owned by the same company that owns Auntie Anne's Pretzels and Cinnabon. Slim Fast is owned by the same company that owns Ben & Jerry's ice cream. These companies do not want you to eat less of their processed bullshit food and eat more natural whole foods. They do not want you to do that. And so every time you learn about weight loss through these diets, you're learning bullshit. You're learning about just calories, restricting, all techniques to change your calorie content, but not the core level of what's mainly dictating your calorie content, which is these ultra formulated, ultra processed foods that are literally the equivalent of substances that people have issues with. So again, it's not that you don't have willpower, it's that you're consuming hyper addictive, hyper palatable, ultra formulated, ultra processed food stuff. And yeah, you're not up for it. Now, I'm not up for it. None of us are up for it. Bet you can't eat just one. Yeah, because it's super addictive. You're right. You're right. So I won't eat any. That's what the answer's got to be. Because no, you're never going to eat just one. Nope. No, you're not. Every time you eat that shit, it nudges you to eat more of it. It's working against you. You know, you want to know why? Why is 70%, 75% of the population overweight or obese? Because we eat way more calories than we used to eat. It's that simple. But why are we eating so many more calories? That's the big question. And that's the question the diets never really answer for you, because they don't want you to think in this paradigm. They do not want you to look at your food choices as clean and processed, whole, natural, ultra formulated. They do not want you to think in that context. They want you to think, no, it's not. Calories are calories. It's just, but it's about carbs. It's about managing your carbs. The carbs are the problem. Oh, it's about not enough protein. Fuck that. That's bullshit. That, not to say that stuff doesn't count. Of course it does. But the first predominant paradigm you've got to put in your head when it comes to food is you've got to start seeing food within its natural whole sense and its ultra processed sense. That's the most important food paradigm that you can have. That's how you have to see your food primarily. And you have to keep nudging yourself over and over and over again to put more and more clean foods in your diet. That's the secret in a nutshell. You know, what's up, Jen? How's it going? And says, what's a tip if 4 days in with flour items to stop? Bread and pasta are the flour items. What's a tip if 4 days in with flour and pasta to stop it? Okay, yeah. So yeah, this happens, right? You just kind of fall into a pit. You start eating some flour, some sugar, some candy, some breads, cookies, whatever. And next thing you know, it kind of snowballs and you're 4 days in, right? So for me, what I want to do is I want to have this ahead of time. I want to have a strategy that I can rely upon, and a simple little one. So most people think all or nothing. They get caught up in some shitty eating and they say, okay, I have to get back to my perfect eating. That's a big jump, you know? So to me, I want to have the simplest, littlest thing I can do that kind of nudges me in the right direction. And so a lot of times, like when I start getting off track with my eating, I have little things I'm relying on, little things that may have nothing to do with food. So a lot of times I've been eating kind of on a bad path with my eating. I'll start drinking more water. I'll go for a walk. I'll take a nap. I'll just relax and meditate for a minute. You know, there's a lot of little things I can do to kind of recenter myself. Okay. I don't like eating that way. I've got a little off track there. Relax. What can I do? And so first thing I do is kind of change my state, center myself, whatever way works for you. But it should be easy, be really easy and quick and enjoyable. Sitting down, quiet. If you like to meditate, just relax. If it's going for a walk, going for a walk. That doesn't matter. And then once you get in that place, then the next question becomes, what can I do right now to feel back on track? Eat an apple. Have a salad. Eat a healthier meal next time, whatever it may be. I'm gonna have a sandwich. I'm not gonna get chips this time, And so now after you kind of center yourself, now make one choice food-wise that brings you in a direction that feels better. Right? What's up, Sherry? Jen says, I now get grossed out at the thought of fast food. I used to have it almost weekly. I eat so much more cleanly than prior to this program. Thank you. Yeah, Jen's on the program and she's at her goal weight. And that's a big part of it. Again, see, like with dieting, you can be in diet mode and not a diet mode, right? I care about my calories. I'm tracking every calorie. Calories are the most important thing in the world. Fuck it. I don't want to think about it. Right? That's the problem with the diet. It's this all or nothing mindset that you swing wildly between. That's always going to keep you in a loss gain cycle. But once you start to see food as clean and natural and whole and ultra processed, ultra formulated, hyper palatable, you never lose that. You really don't. No, you're still going to eat bullshit sometimes. I still eat bullshit sometimes. But when I'm eating bullshit, I'm still thinking in my head on the scale and the spectrum. And absolutely, it starts nudging you cleaner and cleaner and cleaner because you start realizing and understanding what the junk food stuff, fast food stuff, processed food stuff, what it does to you, how it triggers your hunger, how it triggers your cravings, how it makes you overeat, how it makes you overweight, how it makes you tired. And you start realizing that. And as you start to consistently realize that, it really changes your thinking about which foods you desire and crave. I did the exact same thing. I used to eat tons of fast food regularly, multiple times a week. And I don't anymore now ever, not because I'm fighting against cravings for it, but because the way I think about fast food stuff, it's not appealing. It's unappealing to me because I know what it does to me. And the same thing would happen to you, by the way. The secret to changing your eating is not to force yourself to not give in to your cravings and fight against your impulses and all that. That is not the solution. The solution is to change the way you think by changing what you're aware of. And as you start to realize that clean foods make you feel really good and junk food shit, processed food shit makes you feel shitty. It does. You may not realize it, but it does. And as you start to reinforce that paradigm over and over again, you naturally start nudging yourself back over to clean foods. And again, the more clean foods you eat, the better you feel, the easier it is to control your weight, on and on and on. Jennifer said, yeah, it's like in my new religion, new set of beliefs. Exactly. I feel exactly the same way. I feel like the reason I'm able to live at a lower weight is because I live in a different mindset, which means I have a different set of beliefs that I live by now. I am like a transformed person, but not just because I'm way less, but because I think completely different. My mindset is completely different than it was when I was 50 pounds heavier. Completely different. And that's what I'm always trying to say to you, that it's not enough. The diet idea is that here's just a plan. Just keep your same mindset. Keep the same mindset that made you overweight. And now just follow this plan and lose weight. Huh? Well, how am I going to follow the plan if I have an overweight mindset? It doesn't make any sense. Somewhere along the way, if you're going to live at your goal weight, you're going to have to change your mindset. How would it work? Yeah, I mean, some of you'd have to explain to me because I don't believe it would ever work. I don't know how you would ever lose weight and keep it off if you didn't change your mindset. You would have to explain that to me. I don't think it's possible. Kelly says ultra formulated sounds really unappetizing. They should have put that on the packaging. I agree, Kelly. Yeah. Ultra formulated. What a gross word, huh? That's what it is, though. I'm telling you, there's a bunch of words. I got to make a video on that. Like the 5 words that gross me out. The 5 words that give me the ick about processed foods. Ultra formulated is shot to the top of the list. That's a fucking gross term. That is gross. And the weird thing is, like in other contexts, this would almost be illegal. It's like, how can a company exist to just make the most addictive shit possible and then just pump it into us with as much marketing as they want? There's no guardrails on it practically. It's weird. And at this moment in time, the number one cause of preventable death is weight related. So it's like it's an epidemic that we're just so used to, I guess, that we just ignore it, or I don't know what, but it's crazy to me. And so, yeah, ultra formulated, hyper palatable, ultra processed. Those are 3 at the top of the list for me. I think of those all the time. See, you don't even think about it in that ways because it's slowly kind of just changed. I mean, if you're a little older, you know what I mean? If you're a little bit older, food used to be kind of normal. And even the processed food was relatively normal. It ain't like that anymore. Holy shit. I'll give you an example. I had a Carvel cake like a month ago. I gotta make this video too. I had a Carvel cake when I love them little crunchies, So I got the Carvel cake and I ate some of it and I didn't finish some of it. I put it in the sink and I just left it there though. And the next morning I got up and I looked in the sink. That fucking thing looked exactly the same. I said, "Oh my God, what is this made out of? What is this made out of? What did I just put in my body last night?" I'm like, this, I thought it was ice cream. I thought ice cream melted. Nope. Because it ain't ice cream. Not ice cream the way your grandma knew it. It's all filled with what do they call that shit? I'm blanking on it. Emulsifiers. And I read about this, because it was a huge boon in the ice cream industry. Because the thing with ice cream, everything's about money. Okay. And so the thing with ice cream is the big issue money-wise with ice cream is how much it costs to transport it, believe it or not. Right. Because if you're going to move real ice cream, you got to have frozen trucks or close to it. So when they were able to figure out how to make an ice cream that you could transport at, 15, 20 degree higher temperatures, that's a energy savings. You don't have to keep the trucks as cold, right? So that saves tons of money. So again, it has nothing to do with your health. It has nothing to do with you and how it's going to feel in your body or what's going to do to you. It's all about the money they're going to make. And that's every single food that's processed is built with that. That's the North Star, is how much profit can we make? Palatance is another word. Palatance is another word to me that makes me think of profit. I got to write that list. That's a good video, actually. Let me just write this down real quick. Yeah, palatants are what they give livestock to make them eat shitty, low quality feed that they would never eat on their own. And they use that exact same philosophy with people, because you would never eat the low quality trash that you're eating, processed fast food stuff, if it didn't have tons of flavoring in it. So in livestock, they call it palatants. It's flavoring that makes these animals eat these really shitty quality ingredients. And for humans, we call it flavoring. But basically what it does is it takes unappetizing, gross ingredient and it makes you eat it like a demon. And I'll think of the other 5th word somewhere along the way. So anyways, yeah. What's up, Uzo? Uzo says, I've been eating barely 3 meals and I can't seem to lose weight back to my normal weight. When I was 30, I was 15 kilograms less and I can't lose it, dude. Uzo says, you remind me of those gym dudes on TikTok talking about protein and gains. I don't even have any clue what you're talking about. Like, I don't feel like I could be any further away from a gym dude than I am. I don't even understand that at all. Do I look like a jacked gym dude? Do I? Because I'll tell you what, I literally interviewed over 30 of the top gym dudes and gym dudettes years ago for a program I did called the Elite Body. There's some of the top fitness trainers and nutritionists on the planet. And I was very much different than every one of them. And they would let me know that. They said, you're skinny fat. You don't really care. I said, okay, whatever. So being called a gym dude is hilarious to me. I think that's funny. And especially since I'm not talking about protein or gains. So I don't know. I was about to answer your questions, but that's just such a off take that I'm going to just ignore that. But I've been eating barely 3 meals and I can't seem to lose weight. Doesn't mean anything. Because I want to know, how long have you barely been eating 3 meals? What are those barely 3 meals? So again, we can't just take vague information and make any sense of it. We need to have more specific, exactly what you're doing, Oh, I got Uzo. Uzo says, no, you just talk very confidently and you're like in a niche body and all of them think they know how it's like being fat. Got you. Yeah. Well, I mean, I would never say I was never obese. I was 50 pounds heavier than I am now, which would put me in the overweight category, approaching obese, I don't know. Would I have been obese in my life if I haven't learned this stuff? I think I would have been right on the line of it, is what I think. I think if I hadn't learned this stuff, I'd probably be 60, 70 pounds heavier than I am now, I think. Okay. Um, so, but I am confident. I'm confident because I've been doing this for over 30 years and I've been doing this professionally for over 20 years. So I'm a lot different than a lot of people you're going to see on TikTok or gym bros or influencers because I have a resume that very few of them have. I've done 6,000 private weight loss sessions. I've been teaching my Program Yourself Thin course for over 20 years. So I'm at the top of my game. It's 25 grand to work with me privately. I mean, I'm a high level coach. So I get on here every day because this is a mission for me. My father died when I was, 9 years old. He was 54. He died of a heart attack. And in a lot of ways that kind of put me right to this so that I don't think about weight as just how you're going to look. I think that's a piece of it, but it's much more about literally how long you're going to live and your quality of life while you're alive. So for me, this is a mission and I get on here, but yes, I am very confident because I consistently watch people before me that I work with transform before my eyes and master their weight. So I want to be clear. I would never get out here and speak confidently if I only had my own story. I will say that. If I only had my own story of how I lost weight, I would shut the fuck up. But that's not my story. I have literally learned how to lose weight and live at my goal weight from speaking with people that had lost weight and kept it off for at least 2 years. So first of all, everything I'm sharing with you starts with the people that I originally spoke with who had lost weight and kept it off for at least 2 years. Those are the people I sought out like a laser beam to figure out what they did. Okay. And now, I took all that, internalized it, and I've been obsessed with this for literally 30 years. I mean, I've read thousands of books on this. I mean, I talk about this shit every single day. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So it's a different take. But so then Uzo says it's been 6 months, literally been 6 months. So if you have been eating barely 6 meals for 6 months and you haven't lost any weight, it is because you're still consuming too many calories. So 6 months, yeah, whatever you're doing, if you've been doing whatever you've been doing consistently for 6 months and haven't lost any weight, well, great news. You got your baseline. Okay. So what we would have to do is reframe barely eating meals because that implies that you're probably hungry. It's difficult. And I don't know what barely eating meals means. I know it means something to you, but I would want to know specifically what those meals are because those meals have too many calories in them. You're still to lose weight. You're consuming too many calories to lose weight. You need to reduce your calorie consumption. It's that simple. You don't have a body. None of you have a body that will just hold on to weight forever. If I dial down your calories over time, your weight's going to go down. Not to be, I mean, if you ever look in a famine situation, there's never just like one overweight person there. There's never been like in a famine situation, one person is plump. Nope. I know that's an extreme, but again, that's the point because a lot of times we say, oh my God, I changed everything. I didn't lose weight. My body will never lose weight. Okay. Well, it's either that, it's one of two things, right? You either have a body that when you reduce calories, you never lose weight. You either have that's the situation that no matter how much you restrict calories, your body won't let go of any weight. You're either in that situation or you're consuming more calories than you realize and your weight's staying stable because you're consuming the same amount of calories. Now, in the short term, you don't know. Weight loss in the short term is unpredictable and inconsistent. So when you start changing your eating, you really got to give it 4 to 6 weeks to find out, let the dust settle a bit. I know we're all conditioned dieting wise. You should get results that week. That's just not how it shows up. Look at any metabolic lab study where they put a bunch of people in a metabolic lab, track all their calories in and out. And after a month, 3 months, they all lose drastically different amounts of weight. So yes, the rate at which we lose, the rate of speed at which we lose weight varies from person to person. Okay. So you got to, when you're going into your weight loss, you've got to recognize this and realize, I don't know, I might be a slow loser. I might be a fast loser. I don't know how much weight I lose over the next 4 or 6 weeks. Really, I need to stick with this for a month, 2 months to get a baseline. So good job, Uzo. You got 6 months baseline. Okay. But now look at what your barely eating meals are and start to optimize those. And I promise you there's room to optimize them. I promise you are not eating I lost barely eating anything too. I feel hopeless. I did buy many courses from wellness influencers and end up being so tired and worked out. Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, like every diet and workout program out there, day one stresses you out even more. Let me tell you a little secret, folks. You're fucking exhausted. I don't even know you, and I know you're exhausted. Are you living in America in 2025? Yeah, you're exhausted. You're chronically stressed. And the last thing you need to do is add more stress to your life in order to get control of your weight. You need to run the opposite direction. You need to become more relaxed and calm. You need to ground yourself, center yourself. And from that place, you think a lot more clearly. And from that relaxed, calm place, that's how we start to strategically and systematically start to change your mindset, your lifestyle, and your eating into that of a thin and healthy person who lives at their goal weight. Now, I know none of you think that way ever. And I don't know if it just sounds crazy to you or you're just like, fuck that. I want to stress myself out. I want to lose weight as quick as possible. I got to start working out because you end up tired and worked out. Can any of you relate? Don't all of your weight loss efforts end with you being tired and worked out to some degree? How does every diet and workout plan stop? Slowly and quietly, right? Isn't that how every single weight loss plan for you stop? You just slowly stop doing because you're overwhelmed, tired, and just you can't do it anymore. I mean, is that not your case? Maybe people are different out there. I don't know, but that's what I usually see. So to me, it's like to keep doing the same thing doesn't make any sense. So Uzo, I hope you would learn from this and start to dedicate some time to being centered and calm. You're taking lots of energy or lots of action, it sounds like. So great job. But you're taking the wrong action. I'm just letting you know. And I know you feel hopeless. You feel hopeless because you keep doing the wrong thing, thinking it's the right thing. It doesn't work. And you're like, what the fuck? I keep doing what they tell me. Yeah, because it's not the right stuff for you. If you calm down and relaxed and started to really pay attention to what you're eating and optimizing it, just the way I talked about, optimizing it clean wise, not optimizing it calorie wise. You got to optimize it clean wise first before you can optimize it calorie wise. What's that mean? You can't just eat less food. You're eating a bunch of bullshit and you're just going to eat less of it. That's not going to work for you. You need to transform your eating. You need to start making it healthier, cleaner, more whole, more natural. You've got to do that. Without doing that, it's almost impossible. There's literally like almost zero chance you're ever going to change your weight for long. You've got to transform it. And I would almost bet, Uzo, I guarantee you, because I've done this just so many times. Where's my confidence come from? You know how many conversations I've had where someone says, Jim, I'm doing everything perfect. I'm not losing weight. I'll try this, but I don't think it's going to work. And then we start talking and it's instantaneous. Oh, that's a problem. There's 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 a problem. Okay. There's a problem. Your weight is reflecting your average calorie consumption, folks. It's always that way. So, I know we get on our head. Oh my God, nothing's working. We get freaked out, but we stop thinking straight. If I threw you in jail, Uzo, and I took control of your calories, guess what you're going to do? You're going to lose weight because I'm going to lower your calories down. You've got to start from that place because our brain, we can bullshit ourselves. Oh my God, my friend lost 40 pounds, but I can't lose anything. No, it doesn't matter what I do. I could starve myself and I won't lose weight. No, I bet that's not true. Let me put you in my jail. Let me starve you. Let's see what happens after a week. You ever watch the show Alone? Go watch the show Alone, Uzo. Because if you have a body, hey, here you go, everyone. You want to, I forget what they give you, $500,000, $1 million if you win Alone. It's a contest where they send people out into the woods to live by themselves. And you basically see who's going to last the longest. But in reality, it's just a starvation contest, because it's just, I don't know, they're in places where there's nothing they can really hunt very well. So they're all just hungry. And it's literally from the moment they get there, it's just basically to see who can physically last, because they'll come and do like medical exams each week. And it's the people that start losing so much weight and their hearts start beating weird and there's health issues, they take them out. And that's almost always the case, that it's like the last 2 or 3 people, they medically take them out of there. And that's how the last person wins. So if you're a person who has a body that doesn't lose weight, no matter what you do, go on that show. That's an easy $1 million for you. Okay. Cause you'll just last the whole time. You'll go in there at your weight. You won't eat for 2 months and you'll leave at the same weight. Rich. I know I'm being snarky, but we've got to break ourselves out of that, because if you in your head are, no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. That's the most powerless belief ever. You will never, ever do what you can with that belief. I'll give you an example. If I told you that, listen, I know a way to fly. I found out a way that humans can fly. You have to flap your arms in a certain pattern. Do you want to know it? You're like, well, I guess, but no, that doesn't work. I don't believe you. You can't flapping your arms. Stop. You just don't believe it. You out of hand. No. And that's what you're doing when you say, well, no matter what I do, I can't lose weight. That's where you just fuck it. You're not even serious. You know what I mean? Like, and I know you've done lots of stuff, but the next level of seriousness is to say, yes, of course, my weight's reflecting my calories. Let me optimize these calories. Let me fix them, so I can get my weight to where I want it to be. So I hope that makes sense. Yeah, Uzo says, I also have anxiety, depression, and got diagnosed with it ever since I started trying everything. Again, I can't speak to that stuff, but what I can say is that in my world, pretty much all of your weight is controlled by your eating. Your eating's controlled by how you feel, and your feelings are usually controlled by how you think. Okay, so we change how you think, how you feel, how you eat. You change your weight, right? But most people just focus on the changing your eating. They don't focus on how you feel or how you think at all. Right? You just have this top-down approach. I'm just going to change my eating. I'm going to force myself to eat different. I'll lose weight. No, because when you get when you get intense anxiety, when you get intense depression, do you really think that you're eating as well as when you're calm and relaxed and aware? When you're getting extreme anxiety and depression, that's probably when you're eating a lot of calories that you don't even realize. So again, in Program Yourself Thin, the first step of the eating blueprint is awareness, becoming aware of what you're actually intaking. And I know people do not believe this when I say it, but again, I've got the receipts. I've got the literal experience of working with thousands of people that are super smart. Do you understand? I work with overthinkers, perfectionists, successful professional people. It costs a lot of money to work with me privately. And every time I work with these very smart, successful people, they're constantly missing really obvious shit that they're eating. It's the rule. And so I promise you, you're missing calories that you're bringing in. All of you are. You have to develop your awareness. Our cat says, and for the first time ever, I feel very manipulated, angry at these companies. Well, very good. Very good, Era Cat. Era Cat is right on the money. They did a study. They took a group of obese people and they split them into two groups. In one group, they gave them the regular nutritional information stuff. So this is eat this, don't eat this, go do your thing. And they gave them a plan. They worked with a literal nutritionist, each one of them, personal plan, all the rest of it. The other group, they taught them about how the food companies manipulate them through product development, making the most ultra formulated, ultra addictive products possible, and how they manipulate you marketing wise. Told them all, showed them all the techniques, the tricks they use. And the group that got showed about all the tricks that the companies were using lost more weight. So they found that actually changes your behavior more when you feel like these companies are just screwing you. Like they're manipulating you. They're taking advantage of you. Very much like the cigarettes, right? If you watch, cigarette consumption went off a cliff in America because there was an education campaign where you started to think about cigarettes differently. The way you thought about cigarettes in 1980 versus how you thought about them in 2000, totally different. And I believe that was it's the same thing, right? As you start to learn what these companies' are real intentions are and what these foods' real intentions are with you, you start to become, you should get mad. You get angry about it, and it changes your behavior. So that's more effective. So I'm glad to hear that. Uzo says, I feel terrible. I even had a coach body shame me when I was already at my lowest point mentally. Yeah, I mean, coaches, fitness trainers, I mean, whatever, there's good and bad ones, right? But yeah, body shaming never works. Jen says, oh, yeah. Oh, how about synthetic? Oh, that's gross too, right? Yeah. Yeah, emulsifier. I could make a list of, once I start thinking, there's so many words that just make me feel so gross. But I feel gross when I think of processed fast food, junk food stuff. Stacy says, I don't even know where to start. Food, I'm guessing, and movement. Yeah, where to start? You start with your food for sure. And how do you start with your food though, right? How do most dieters start with their food? How do most people start with their food to lose weight? They change all of it, right? You completely change your eating instantly. All of it, 100% of it. So that doesn't make any sense. So what you do is you can start with your worst eating habit. What's the worst eating habit you have? The one that shows up daily or multiple times a week, and start working on fixing that. Not just fixing it right away, but like, again, in Program Yourself Thin, we have the 3 R's: reduce, replace, remove. And so start, stalking your worst eating habit. Pay attention to it. Think about it. Think about what solutions you could use. How could you resolve it? How can you make it better? And if you get obsessed with that, over a couple of weeks, you come up with elegant strategies that fit you like a glove. And now your ability to improve your worst eating habit gets better until we get to the point where, it either disappears or it minimizes down to it's not a big deal. So that's one piece. Another piece is you could start to work on implementing a good eating habit, right? So maybe you start eating an apple every weekday. Maybe you start your day with a banana. Maybe you start your day with a healthier breakfast. Okay. And then the final one is a lifestyle piece. Okay. So maybe you pick, I'm going to start drinking some more water. I'm going to go get a little more sleep from now on. I'm going to practice relaxation. Pick one of them. Okay. That's the secret. So if you focused on your worst eating habit, you focus on your best eating habit, and you focus on the lifestyle habit that will give you the best benefit, that's more than enough. And if you do that for a month, 2 months, it's transformative. Again, you all have been fed the impatience has been programmed into you, so that when you think about weight loss now, when you think about weight loss now, you think about, just it's overwhelming, so we need to underwhelm it, make it really easy. So I hope that helps. So Fisteria says, how to wisely decide your goal weight. Okay, well, I'm glad you asked that, because I literally just put together a goal weight quiz to literally help you do that. And not only will it help you choose the right goal weight for yourself, but it'll help you really connect to what the true meaning of it is for you. And so I give that to you for free. The way to get it at this point is click the link in my bio or go to Program Yourself, then click the free hypnosis session link, and then go to that, fill that in, and I will email you the goal weight quiz within the next couple of days. I've been sending it out every couple of days. But yeah, that's free. So I give you more free shit than anyone. No one wants you to lose weight more than me. Yeah, Lindy says the foods are scientifically engineered to cause addictions. Yes, absolutely. And we got to see them that way, which isn't to say you can never eat them. I treat like junk food, sugar, processed foods, ultra formulated foods. I treat them like alcohol. I still drink, but I drink very moderately. Again, I'm looking for the sweet spot where I can enjoy a little bit of alcohol, but not have it negatively impact my life in a big way. And I think about the food the same way. I'm looking for that sweet spot. Where can I enjoy the food the most and have the quality of life I want? Look the way I want. Look the way I want. I'll talk about that more now. That'll be something. That'll be a change for you. Those of you that listen to this show regularly, listen to me regularly. That is one of the things coming down the pike that's going to be different. Is I will be talking more about the. Don says Jim's not a gym dude. That is funny. That the fact that someone look at me and think I'm a gym dude, that's a funny thing to me, because I'm the opposite of a gym dude. But anyways, yeah. Well, I don't even know what I was just saying before that. Something, whatever. Don says, I feel like most people eating 3 meals are overeating. If 1 or 2 are salads, maybe not. Yeah, I mean, I have 3 meals, but they're perfectly engineered for me to be at my goal weight. I love them. I enjoy them. They're satisfying and they're perfect for me, but I know what those are for me, and they're different for each person, right? Because each person's got different, desires, lifestyle, preferences, all that stuff there, and so you got to figure out what foods work for you. But once you got them, you got them. And Bozzy says, is a Monjuro the best option out there for a heavy person? I mean, I definitely think the GLP-1s are the best option for a heavy person who doesn't want to invest the time, energy, into really mastering their mindset, lifestyle, and eating. So if you're a person who I don't want to think about this shit. I'm busy. I don't have time or energy or desire to think about this stuff. Then I think that's the best thing. That's the best chance you got is GLP-1s. But if you're a person who is kind of an overthinker, perfectionist, I mean, you didn't have to go to college, but the type of person that went to college or, gets obsessed with things, that's what Program Yourself Thin's for, because we do it naturally. You learn how to think, live, and eat like a thin, healthy person. So, that's by far the superior choice. Let it be known. Okay. There's no way in the world I will take any GLP-1 success story. I will take anyone. Give me the best one that's ever happened. And I will take my best Program Yourself Think client stories and I will put them head to head. And you know what's going to happen? The Program Yourself Think client stories are going to smoke the GLP-1s. by 100 miles. How could they not? Okay. My clients are getting to their goal weight. They're getting to their goal weight and learning how to live at their goal weight forever in a way that helps them be the best version of themselves possible, that becomes a forever path that they keep improving, optimizing, and growing with, and that doesn't cost them money where they have to inject shit in their body for the rest of their lives. So how could that not be superior to the GLP-1? Now, GLP-1s are superior to the diets because diets don't work. There's not even a single diet that works long-term. So yes, GLP-1s are superior to the diets. Now, are GLP-1s superior to surgery? They're close. You know what I mean? Now it depends. Do you want surgery? Do you want major surgery and have to live with all the effects that you live with it from that? Right? That's your choice, but that's another option. So those are basically the three options. GLP-1 for most people is going to be the best one between the diet and the surgeries. It's better. Okay. But again, in my world, program yourself thin is a million times better than any of those. But program yourself thin isn't for everyone. If you're not really, if you're not really if you're not really a thinker, and I don't mean that, I don't mean like smart. I don't think I'm the smartest person, but I am an overthinker. I'm in my head. Those are the people that succeed with programming yourself thin. And I make that crystal clear. If you're just a person who just tell me what to do, and just tell me what to do and I'll do it. This is not for you. Okay. So everything's relative. So is Monchero the best option? It depends on who you are, and it depends what options you're considering. But I don't think it's the greatest. I'm not a huge fan of the GLP-1s. Again, I'm not a hater. I'm not going to sit here and say never do them. I think there's a time and a place, but I think there's certainly better options. There's no question that transforming your mindset, lifestyle, and eating to that of a thin, healthy person is a superior option. Now you say, well, I don't know how to do that, Jim. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm here. I know you don't know how to do that, but that's what I help people do. Just because you don't know how to do something doesn't mean it can't be done. Right? A rare cat. Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, a rare cat. Those drive me nuts. You know what it made me like when I'm looking at, I know you think a rare cat, but I'm thinking like Arafat. Remember what was his name? Something Arafat. Blanket on that. But anyway, so that's why I was getting messed with that. So yeah. But if anyone's got any questions, feel free to ask them. If not, see myself out and get working. Working a lot. I'm working on that book. I'm working on that workbook. It's really exciting. So it is still moving forward. Like huge leaps and bounds. So I want to make that clear. Enormous leaps and bounds. That being said, there's always still roadblocks. It is, I will say. I was thinking that today, like this is the first time I've wanted to write a book for literally over 20 years. And I've just never done it. And I've taken programs and courses and all that. I've just never done it. And this is the first time I'm really sitting down doing it. And it's interesting going face to face with the hardness of that, because you get to this point, it's like, I don't know where to go from here. And it's such a defeated feeling. Like it sucks. It's like you feel overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. It's like, I get in and calm down, relax. Let's just, you just got to slog your way through it. And I'm actually doing that this time. And it's been amazing because I do keep slogging through it and I keep moving forward. So it's exciting because there's the specific output that's going to lead to this workbook and book. But then the other exciting part is that I'm working through this process to realize, okay, it's not that bad. Okay, when that happens, I can do this and all the rest of it. And that's exciting because now it's so funny in my mind. I'm like, I have ideas for a number of books. And so it's exciting to even think like it feels real. So it's very interesting. It's like new path unlocked for me. And it's books, because I want to write a book, but now I'm actually doing it. And so now it feels more real. So it's exciting. But yes, I'm kind of slogging through it. And, but yeah, getting there. All right. There's D. D says, how do you stay on track? I've been trying. Oh, okay. How do I stay on track? I've been binge free for a week and now hit an emotional day and want to probably stay on track. Okay. So, I will say I don't like that framing, D. I don't love the framing of binge free. Now, I'm not saying that's not what you've been. I know that's what you've been, but I don't like the framing of I've been binge free because it's an all or nothing mindset. and it sets your mind up to say, okay, well, the second I binge, because what's binging? Binging at this point, because binging becomes relative. At first, okay, no more binging. And you're like, no, I'm not binging. And you don't binge at all. But now all of a sudden, well, what actually is a binge? It might be, oh, I ate a cookie when I wasn't going to eat one. Oh, shit, I just binged. Oh, I ate 3 cookies. I just binged. So be careful what binge defines. But binge free is an all or nothing mindset. I don't like that. And it sets you up. It literally, the second you start your streaks, folks, this is what dieting trains you to do, because you always start on a Monday and then it becomes this streak in your mind. You're like, oh my God, I made it through a day. All right. 2 days. All right. 3 days. Okay. All right. Nice. How long can I keep this going? 4 days. Holy shit. I can't believe I made 4 days. 5 days. Can I make it? Am I going to make it through the end of the day? Oh, this is 6 days. Oh, right. It gets more and more intense. And so, especially in an emotional day, and so again, binge free is an all or nothing mindset to me. Again, improve yourself. Then we want a clean day. Maybe you get good at having 3-4 clean days. So that's how I look. I'd be like, oh, I've had 3-4 clean days this week, and it's been relatively easy. It's been really great. Now I feel myself slipping a little bit. What can I do to kind of stay somewhat on track? And you got to answer that. You know what I mean? But that's the question. Relax, right? So you're emotional, center yourself, calm down, right? And then ask yourself, what do I want to eat today? Right. So again, when you're thinking about binge free, it's like, remember, your subconscious mind doesn't understand negative. So I tell you, don't think about a banana. Okay, D, don't think about a banana, D. Don't think about a banana, D. Right? What are you thinking about? Right? So now let me just replace it. Don't think about a binge. You've been binge free. Don't think about binging. What are you thinking about? And you're getting more and more and more focused on binging. Okay. So to me, it's like, I want to focus on the opposite. I've had 4 days of clean eating. Holy shit. Great job. Because right now in your all or nothing mode, the value is in the streak. As long as you're in the streak, everything's okay. The second you binge, it's all over. That's bullshit. The way I look at it is like, holy shit, I put 4 days together where I ate really well. I ate really clean those days. That was pretty good. I could do this every week, every Monday through Wednesday. That was really easy. I could do every Monday, Wednesday, really clean. Great. I wanted to go 5 days, 6 days, but like, wow, 3 days I got locked down. That's really good. Then you get today and you center yourself. Maybe you'll eat a little worse today than you did yesterday. That's okay too. What's the sweet spot between eating clean and binging? Is there any middle ground that you could go into? Because succeeding is not just about being binge free. It's about binging less, if that makes sense. So now you've got more gradient to work with, as opposed to this black or white, endurance test mode, which never lasts. Right? So yeah, that's what I would say, D. All right, everyone. I'm going to get out of here. If you're not in my world, make sure you get in my world, because I give you all sorts of free stuff to help you master your weight and live at your goal weight. So click the link in my bio. Go get the free hypnosis session I give you. Watch the video I made for you. Read the emails I send you. Take the goal weight quiz I give you. Again, like I said, even if you don't get my program, all this stuff's going to support and help you with whatever you're doing. Okay. You can live at your goal weight. You can make it happen. And not only can you get to your goal, you can stay there for the rest of your life on your autopilot. It can be enjoyable. It can be fun. It can make you feel better. Okay. So go check that out. I'm here live every day, Monday through Friday, usually around noon Eastern. And yeah, it's also a podcast. So if you miss it and you want to listen to it, go to wherever you listen to podcasts and go search Program Yourself Thin. There it is. And uploaded every weekday. There's a new one. So, all right, everyone, have a super duper day, and we'll talk soon. Bye.